what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Boston Sports Summit. I am your host, Tim Barnett, and here we got another special edition, frequent guest, the Ritt from the Pesky Podcast. He's here to join us to talk about the spring training and what we think is going to happen this season with the Red Sox. So, Ritt, what do we got? What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Not bad. Really excited for some Red Sox baseball to be playing right now as we speak within, during the week. WBC is, happening soon. Next week it starts?
Yeah, either this weekend or, early next week.
Yeah,
going on.
Scrimmages going on. We played Team Puerto Rico. I'm just excited for Red Sox baseball to be back. I'm really grateful to be able to be on Twitter to hear all the naysayers and complainers that, don't look at anything but the doom and gloom. And Tim, you're not one of them.
You just described my show.
but Tim, you're not one of you at least will admit, okay, this is good. We could sit there. Roman Anthony could hit 50 bombs this year and be like, yeah, but his on base percentage, wasn't the greatest. He was one stolen base shy of 20. Like you don't do that stuff. No.
I'm not. Well, no, I get after, again, as we talked just off air, I was like, I get after what they say and then how they act, which again, it leads us to my first point. Not my last show, because that was gloating over Canada about, the men's hockey team and how awesome that was. But the show before that, I was talking about just the absolute PR nightmare that the Red Sox front office consistently puts themselves. You got to be kidding me. This, I do this all the time. It hasn't been this bad, but the last couple of attempts, the TV just kills me. Otherwise,
I personally thought you were setting the mood with the fire, with the fire going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But again, Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, and again, I want to state this outright because I feel like if you've seen enough of my rants about these guys, you think I think they're evil and this, that, and the other. No, I don't think they're evil. I've heard, especially recently, how nice guy Sam Kennedy is, like the best dude, and that's great. I really hope he's a genuine person, and I obviously know he loves the Red Sox. But my issue with it is you have layup questions that you're going to get from the media, especially the Boston media. And Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, Tom Warner consistently put themselves in situations where they seem wildly unprepared. And I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing? Hire me. I will gladly shut my mouth and work for you to run you through what questions you're going to get and how you should answer it. It's not hard.
Yeah. I don't know how old you are, but I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit older than you. And I was always brought up, a man is valued by his word.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell you something, except for last week, when I told you I'd be here, and I completely forgot about you. But
so, you and me both. It's okay.
but if I tell you something, I'm going to do the best of my ability to get you there, to get you what I said. You know what I mean? And then it goes to, okay, but it's my thinking, his thinking. So let's go right off some topics. What happened to the number 2 starter? Okay.
Yep.
My number two starter, is looking, and his number 2 starter might be a little bit different, lining things up. But real quick, I really his way he worked things was ass backwards. Can I say that?
Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah,
was completely ass backwards. Okay, we're gonna get Sonny Gray, and then who we're gonna go out and get Ranger Suarez, who we've been talking to since free agency started. But we're not going to sign him until we have to pivot from Alex Bregman, which we're going to get to, exactly. A little bit. So, okay, everybody wanted to complain about Sonny Gray is not a number 2 starter, maybe number 3, but
at best.
Yeah, at best. Well, look at his numbers last year. You can't deny what he.
I'm not denying the numbers, but you're talking about a pitcher who's in his mid to late 30s. And you're expecting him. And again, I understand the difference between the NL and AL is not as different as it used to be in terms of pitchers and styles and all of that. But I'm sorry, you got Sonny Gray, who again had great numbers last year. Not denying that, never denied that. But it's almost like you're asking me to replicate what Aroldis Chapman did last year and that he's going to do it this year. I don't know. That's what freaks me out as when initially, you're right, when they went out and got Sonny Gray, and for all intents and purposes, it seemed like they were content with him as he's going to be the number 2 starter, the top tier starter that Breslow came out and talked about. And then all of a sudden, the whole Bregman thing went down. Next thing you know, they pivot. Ranger Suarez, 5 years, $125 or whatever, right around that number. That's what kind of was like, oh, so you just screwed the pooch on Bregman. So you're trying to do damage control, and that's why you went and got Ranger.
Well, how would you have felt if they would have went and signed Ranger Suarez first and then Sonny Gray?
I would actually feel better about that because
is Ranger Suarez a number 2 starter that you could get behind?
I mean, he's not a jump off the page number 2 starter that I've been dying for with the whole Joe Ryan saga. I've been a big Joe Ryan guy since the minute that he was reference to Boston. I've been like, do whatever you can. We got the guys. We can make this deal happen. If we have to trade away another piece, Christian Campbell, peace, love you, mean it, but I'm good with that. Now, obviously, we're sports talk radio guys. We don't, or sports talk podcasting guys. We don't know what's going on in the rooms. We don't know what the Twins were hell bent on their sticking point was, whether that was Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer. Again, it's one of those things where it could have happened. I feel like we had at the time, even at the trade deadline, we had enough ammunition to go get Joe Ryan. This offseason, we had ammunition to go get Joe Ryan. But whether it was, Craig Breslow just not being able to connect with people, or it was that the Twins had a sticking point that the Red Sox were like, not happening. Again, that's where if they went out to to bring it right back, if they got Ranger Suarez first, then went and got Sonny Gray, I can actually look at that and say, hey, you are improving. You are getting that top tier starter. You went and said, then you got Sonny Gray, who has the potential to get up there. If this is like one of his last great seasons, phenomenal. But the idea that they got Sonny Gray, waited, then out of necessity, because Bregman jumped ship to Chicago, got Ranger Suarez, that's where I go, okay, now you're just doing damage control. You're not even...
I honestly think Breslow has the worst panic pivot moves that, for one, I want to comment on your, Joey Ryan. I honestly think the Twins were on a literal fire sale last year. Mm-hmm. So they were taking phone calls probably from all 29 other teams and such. And all of a sudden, the Red Sox thought they were getting to that point of, okay, we got Joey Ryan. Okay, we don't. Oh crap! Now they pivoted and got Dustin May. Like, come on now.
Whenever that trade buzzer went off at 5 of 4, and it was like, oh my God, we got Joe Ryan, guys, we got Joe. And then the stupid little post by I think Fox MLB there, where they threw up the Joe Ryan to the Red Sox.
The greatest 7 seconds of our life.
Oh my God! It was like, hallelujah! The Red Sox actually accomplished what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then just that punch in the gut, just you were not expecting it. And I mean, you still got Bob Nightingale, which again, say what you want about Bob, but like, him going on television to say that no one likes to deal with Craig Breslow. I look at that. I go, have you listened to the guy talk? Like, he doesn't sound like a ball player. He does sound like a nerd. And the fact too, that when he was in Chicago with Theo, Breslow wasn't even in Chicago. He was in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't there day to day interacting with people. And so I'm not surprised. Like, and listen, again, no. I feel like I have to stress this because I'm trying to, be good, but it's like I have no ill will towards Breslow. It just, from what I hear, and from what Bob said, it's in what I know about the whole Chicago thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but sit here and say, why is he leading the charge?
I would have been personally better for him to just not say nothing. Don't say about a power bat. Don't even tell us what your plans are.
So we got Tom Warner saying that he's that we're going full throttle 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How did that turn out? Then we had what was last year's big storyline that they went on? Was it anything to do with Soto or something? Because I know there was some line that they cracked where you're like what's going on here? Again, we're back to the same story. 3 years in a row, we're doing the same stuff, different day. Now this time with Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow.
Last year, I could honestly say, was the best pivot move that he ever did. We don't get Juan Soto. Okay, fine. We're going to trade and get us Garrett Crochet. Okay. I can sit there and be like, okay, but other than that, his pivot moves have not worked out at all. It seems like it seems like he really can't sign the big name, but a player has to feel comfortable coming here. And a lot of people, okay, let's sit there and move right along. I'm sorry, Tim, if I'm trying to lead the charge here. With Alex Bregman, how can you sit there and want to come here and sign as a free agent when you see what Bregman, and then Bregman was in the locker room behind the scenes the whole time last year, seeing what the Red Sox were doing to Devers, and then what they did to Devers. He was, in my opinion, he was looking out for his family. Okay,
100%. That's a good man right there.
I want a no trade clause because you're not doing to me what you did to Devers, and the
history that comes with the Red Sox.
Yeah,
it's not just Devers. I mean, the Red Sox are known for a guy who's got a big contract that is in the mid-30s that they're like, we got to get out. We got to do whatever we can to get out of this. And that's part of probably the reason why they bashed Mookie Betts in the media saying that. And again, I don't know how this got out there. I'm assuming this was the Red Sox brass, not Mookie Betts calling Boston racist. That's why he doesn't want to stay here. But at the same time, yeah, with the whole Devers thing, let's just go off of that. I saw that, and because I don't remember a single player coming out after they traded him talking about how terrible of a teammate Devers was.
There was one, and I don't know what context it was, where he was sleeping on, waiting for the plane to take off and sleeping. Oh, what happened? Oh, then went right back to sleep. But, other than that,
yeah,
I would be kind of miserable too,
I think
if I got told, oh, you're playing third. If my boss would have told me one thing, and I've worked for people like this before, you're definitely going to get the position. Just apply for it, and then you don't get it. It's like, wait a minute, but you told me I was good. Oh, well, no, but we got this over here. Come over here. Pack away the glove. You don't need it. If they would have handled the whole situation differently, if you would have looked and seen how better our team would have been, we probably would have beat the Yankees in the playoffs if we had Devers at third, Bregman at second, Story at short.
Yeah. Or even just keep Devers at DH. Don't force him to go from position to position. This is what kills me, because then you got fans like us who hear the moves from third to DH to then first. And while from our standpoint, we could go to our beer leagues, during the week and play every single position because it's a friggin' beer league. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
know? But this is their livelihood. This is what Devers knows. And while you are taking the defense away, which, okay, I can live with that, and Devers seemed to wrap his mind around that, Tom Werner having to come out and say, just pick up a glove. I mean, again, PR nightmare. Why? What was running through your mind where you thought that was a brilliant thing to say? Because it just goes to show the ineptitude. And this is kind of what I talked about when I ranted about them. I go, the front office thinks this uniform right here, it is an honor to wear this uniform. Where, yeah, it is an honor. But you know what else is an honor? To wear the Yankees, to wear the A's, to wear the Rays, White Sox, Blue Jays, Dodgers, you name it, Padres, everybody. Because you have made the show. You are playing in the big leagues, regardless if you're the superstar or the final guy on the roster. You are wearing this uniform for a reason. The Red Sox lore of how we've won the most world titles this century, how we've got such a great winning percentage, and how they want to blah, 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 with playing at Fenway Park, whatever. It's gone. It's gone. Why? Because those guys in the front office, I've named them all three, it's them who are saying these things, degrading the players on the way out, kicking their asses, and just saying, you should have played for us. That's basically what they're saying. Live on our terms or get out of here. And when you get out of here, we're going to defame you. It's unbelievable. Sorry.
No, and look at another thing. If you wanted to be here, he'd be here. Well, if you wanted him, you would have worked out. Okay, how about not a full no team clause, but how about a select team no trade clause? Like,
go the NHL route.
Yeah, if you wanted him to be here, like, look at how much he helped the young guys last year. I got the chance to talk to Tanner Houck when he was on his rehab assignment, and he was like, he wasn't just talking to the hitters, he was talking to the pitchers. Like he's looking at the lineup we're facing, and he's telling us how to attack these players. Like that is a second set of eyes, like another manager,
Yeah,
on your roster right there.
That's what he was. And listen, we can have. I feel like, and here's the other thing too. I don't mind sitting down and having a discussion about 5 years, 175. I feel like that is a fair conversation to have. But when you go so far as to do all the extra things, which again, the Red Sox were not, 5 at 165. It was, with all the deferrals down the road, the present day value was $28 million less than what the Cubs were offering. And it sounds like Bregman would have accepted that had they thrown in the no trade clause, or maybe even, like you said, go down the NHL route and take a partial no trade clause if that's a major league thing. I don't know if I've ever heard of that, but hey, that's something new.
Yeah, there's some players that, I'll take a partial no trade clause where I will not go to 8 teams A, B, C, and D.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Bregman was just like you said, looking out for his family, and there's nothing wrong with that because of look at the Red Sox past. The front office has been doing this all the way back to 2010. With the whole Kyle Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez. I know John Lester didn't have a big contract, but they lowballed him so much. Even though he still would have signed, they were like, "No, you got to get out of here."
Pedro.
Well, Pedro was kind of done though, and they let him walk.
He was gone, but he was willing to take a lesser contract to stay.
That's true
because he loved it here.
Yep. I mean, Euclid they traded, which say what you want about that. But again, David Price, the massive contract. That's why they threw in Mookie Betts because it's the only way the Dodgers would have taken him. All these things down the road, you're just sitting there going, I with the Red Sox, again, there has never been, I think, a truer line in cinema than fever pitch, careful kid, they'll break your heart. Because I swear to God, it's like I'm living the same story, different day with these guys. And then John Henry going 6 years of not saying an effing word to the media because he doesn't want to have to deal with this. At the end of the day, again, it's not hard. As I said, when asked about Bregman and the fact they didn't want to give him a no-trade clause, if I was managing Sam Kennedy or if I was directing him, I would have looked and said, Sam, this is what you got to say. And it's as simple as this. Listen, Alex and us, we loved him here. He was a phenomenal player. He led the team. He was this, that, and the other, and such a great leader for the young guys. But at the end of the day, we just couldn't come to terms. It's sad. It's tough, but that's the nature of the beast. We couldn't agree to the term limits. Done. Is that newsworthy? Because to me, that's just as dry as it can get.
Absolutely. Like it's why would you want to poke the bear when you leave? Me personally, I can't wait till this year. I hope Devers gets a Gold Glove at first base.
Oh, that would be awesome. And like Bregman just goes off too. Like he stays healthy all year.
Now not to I love the pivot from the Pivot Man. Where we're not gonna be sexy this year. No. As much as people want to look at Jaron Duran, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, we're not gonna be sexy this year at all. Like, but
hell, is Marcelo Meyer gonna even make the team?
This is going to be boring, fundamental baseball that I'm hoping out of what we had like 22 one-run losses last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping the defense prevails. Pitching gets us through. Like, if you look at our last 4 World Series, which if the Dodgers win one more, they tie us. And then
Mookie's got a billion rings at this point.
And then Kennedy can't say we won the most,
which at this point I'm almost hoping for, but continue.
Yeah. So, but we've had one of the top 5 pitching staffs each one of those years. So I think we can put together, a top pitching staff.
But you're missing one other aspect of that piece, though. We were also top 3 in payroll all 4 years.
Yeah, but if we can do it with the younger guys here.
But we still were. We were still. I think we're 3 in 2018 with the younger guys.
Yeah, they weren't this young. These guys
you're correct. Yeah.
These guys are diaper young. You know what I mean? Like Roman Anthony. Oh my God! Did you see that home run? Team USA.
The crack off the bat was something that I miss every time we get around this time of year. It's when you hear that crack of the bat, it's almost just like music. You're like, oh, that felt so.
But but yeah, like I think we have a nice, young, exciting team this year that is going to get a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
And
before I do want to say, before we get to, I know I threw my pen off the table here during my rant. So I do want to say, before we get to the team outlook, because there are some things that I do want to discuss with you. The first being what's been ripping all the umpires, which is phenomenal to see. I mean, listen, we've all seen bad referees in all the sports, and how arrogant these guys are. I don't know if I've seen a more arrogant referee or umpire than the home plate umpire. Like, for some reason, of all the guys who are umpiring those games, whenever they put that big chest pad on and the face mask on, the term humble just goes right out the door with them. They control everything. Their arrogance is through the roof.
I kind of guessed, Tim, that you don't watch OKC games, do you?
That's assuming I watch basketball in the first place.
I'm just saying those referees and officials there throw everything out the window unless you're OKC. But continue, please.
Exactly. Well, I do want to say, listen, I've said this on my show before. I love the sport of basketball. Love playing it. When it's real, I love watching it. It's a lot of fun. But God, the NBA product now just sucks. Growing up in an era where you had Patrick Ewing, you had Allen Iverson driving to the hole against oh gosh, it was Shaq, like old school Shaq, whatever. That was a good product. Otherwise, back to my point. The fact that the home plate umpires are finally being called out due to this automated balls and strike system has been great. It really has been fun to watch these guys. And the ones that miss by like 0.1 inches, that's, I'm like, okay, I'm not mad about that. But when you get the ones that, the one, I think it was like Pittsburgh, it was right down the friggin' pipe. And he called it a ball. I was like, in what world? Like it's great to see. But the thing that drew me to it is not just obviously getting to ridicule the umpires and hopefully teach them to, I don't know, call a fair game. But when talking about Alex Cora's planning to attack, he answered it with, don't be afraid to use it. Now, I understand that you don't get to carry them over if the game goes into extra innings, so don't be afraid. But if you burn through your challenges in the first 3 innings, like, what are we doing? You know, like there's got to be some sort of strategy behind this. Do you agree?
I think there's going to be a lot of strategy. I think that there's going to be certain players that are going to get the okay. Mm-hmm. The ones that really know. Roman Anthony knows that strike zone phenomenally.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, so I think he's going to be definitely one that's going to be, you know, able to
dictate
everything. Wilson Contreras is going to be another one that I think really knows the strike zone. Trevor Story. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that they're going to be more the ones that are going to lean on. Tristan Casas, when he comes back, is another one that really knew the strike zone. And, you know, I'm sure we're going to be talking about him, Tim.
This guy. He's the Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Red Sox, but continue.
But look, I also think that you're going to see Carlos Aviles on the catching aspect of it, being able to
for behind the plate, that's your best view.
You know, and I also think that there's going to be some strategy too, because what the catcher, if the umpire sees the catcher like move the glove up dramatically, mm-hmm. you know, it's a little bit tougher. Even if the player, you know, sees it, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But once the other team loses or uses all their ABS challenges, the catcher has the advantage then, per se, because they can, you know, try to sneak and get that extra strike because they can't challenge it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when and that's the thing, because I saw a video earlier from last spring training. I think it was the Mets and Phillies. I think we're playing against one another, and Juan Soto's up the bat, and the guy threw a crazy slider that just broke right in on Soto and clearly was over the plate. Like not the heart of the plate, but he definitely painted the black on that one. But mm-hmm. the catcher catches it and like whips the glove like right here. So he goes from here to here. And when I was growing up, I was the catcher. And when I was going to these Tufts baseball camps with the legendary coach John Casey there, and one of the things I learned is, as a catcher, yes, you want to frame the pitches. Absolutely. That's part of your job. But when I see catchers go from here to here or some crazy movement and they get the call, like if it gets down here and they bring it up and the guy umpire calls a strike, I'm sitting there going, are you blind? Did you not see that arm go 5 feet? You know, but what Casey and Tufts taught me, and again, I am talking, not playing, but it was turn your body. So if you're calling an inside pitch, already set yourself up where you're adjusting your body. So you're not necessarily moving the glove, you're just moving your body. And that's what gives the frame of reference to the umpire. So mm-hmm. he doesn't see that dramatic glove move. And that's why you get the call more often than the dramatic glove move. Otherwise,
well, I also caught, but I'm older than you. So when I caught, there was no one knee down, one knee up. Was that your style?
No, that wasn't my style either. No.
Yeah,
I had to have the knee savers on the back.
We didn't have the knee savers. That's why my knees are shot, dropping down and holding it back there. We didn't have the knee savers back in the late 90s.
Yeah, I was the early 2000s, so I they just came out. But I agree with you. It's, you know, the laziness behind the plate. Now listen, that's my opinion. Like I look at all the one knee down and the other leg kicked all the way out. There's no rhyme or reason for that. Especially too when you get to, you know, high school and college, you see these guys and they're playing legit. They're not doing that.
But I always looked at it as the one leg out. That gives your body less of a chance if a ball gets away. It's that whole side's wide open. Where if you're in front of it still, drop down, spread out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But yeah, this ABS system, I'm looking at going, it's great because not only do we get to ridicule the home plate umpire, especially if they're wrong, but I look at it now as it's not necessarily something we can blame Alex Cora for. Now we actually get to look at and say to the player, why would you challenge that? You know, I understand it's on the outside of the plate, but you got to have better spatial awareness for that because that's, you know, I'm just making a scenario up. But it's actually puts more of the weight on the player now so that if you do, let's say, get to the bottom of the ninth, you get the winning run, you know, bases loaded, the winning run is on third. Or, yeah, fuck it. Shit. Damn it. I try to be good, but it comes out. But you get the winning run on third, and you have a 3-2 count, and you challenge because the ball paints the black. Oh, my gosh. You're going to get ripped into if you end up losing that game. You know? Like, it's a lot more interesting. The one thing I have yet to figure out, and I've been reading MLB.com, I've been trying to figure this out. You get 2 challenges. You get to keep – do they just keep going until you lose the 2? Or, like, if you use your 2 challenges and you won both, do you get 2 more? Or do you just get 1 more and it's 3 maximum? I haven't seen anything on that.
I'm not 100% sure.
I know, because I've read the rules over and over and over, and I don't know. They say you get to continue on, but it's one of those weird things. Otherwise, the other thing I did want to mention was Pete Abraham wrote in the Globe a couple weeks ago, and I got so wrapped up with the Olympics, I just hadn't had time to talk about it. But there's this talk now that, which it's not even talk, it's actually the Marlins are doing this, the Rockies are getting into this, but they're having the dugout, the coaches call the pitches for the player or for the pitcher and catcher. And so all they have to do is just focus on throwing the ball, catching the ball, and hitting. First of all, if that's the case, just why are we even having human beings play this game anymore? Just stop throwing in the robots because that's absurd. You know, if they're not the ones dictating what's going to happen. Do you agree? I mean, have you heard about this?
No, I have not, and it wasn't on our, so I didn't get a chance to look anything up.
No, it's fine. I just to me it sounds like I understand the concept of, okay, hey, especially for the catchers, because catchers, we all know, you're lucky if you could find a really good offensive catcher. If you could find the Mike Piazza, the Carlton Fisk, tip of the cap, so many others. But it's
the big dumper.
The big dump, Kyle Rowley, baby. I know. If you could find a guy who can actually hit as well as catch, you've hit the jackpot. But to take away this aspect of the game, you're missing a whole thing, a whole piece of it. I mean, Connor Wong is not a fan of it. And what shocked me was Veritek said he was open-minded. Now, at first it shocked me because I was like, the man who studied everything. He had binders in his locker of all the notes, you know, going for all these series. But at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, well, for Jason Veritek, if he's going to be the one calling the pitches, I don't know. It almost wouldn't surprise me because here's a guy, it's like, well, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself type of deal. You know, but that means Jason Veritek is the guy, not any other, not Cora, not any other coaching staff. Otherwise, I look at this as just totally dumb.
Yeah, looking at it, some of the starting pitchers like to call, like they reverse the role.
Yeah, and I don't mind that.
So it's gonna be different, if that actually happens. So here, hold on. Okay, I have an answer for you.
All right.
I texted David Sandlin to find out.
Okay.
So he's dealt with it through the minor leagues. There is unlimited successful challenges as long as you keep winning them. He says.
Oh God.
Except for extra innings, that he said there's only one.
There's only one.
You get one.
Yep. And if you still have one going into extra innings, you lose that. That I know.
Yeah. But he sat there and said that it's unlimited. So as long as you keep winning, it keeps rolling.
And that's my fear, is that this is going to affect the pace of play, because we've already got a great pace of play going on with the fact that the pitch clock is going on. And this is why I'm a little bit pissed off about the whole calling the game from the dugout aspect, because it's not calling the game from the dugout wildly changes the game, because at least with the pitch clock, it sped up the pace of game. The ghost runner just ended the games early, because we don't need to be in the middle of July playing a 6-hour game that goes into the 18th inning. It's July. It's a Tuesday. Let's just get the hell out of here. We don't need that. But if you want to, and then with the ABS, I think it puts umpires more at the spotlight, saying, dude, do your job better. I understand it's hard. I'm not trying to trivialize what they do, but come on, you know what you're doing. And then finally, calling the pitches, I think it fundamentally changes the game. The others just sped up the game, just made the game more better. The calling the game fundamentally changes it.
It's just another piece of electronics that could go wrong, because now instead of just pitcher catcher, you have the third piece of equipment. Because the catcher still has to have an earpiece so he can hear what's going on, what pitch is coming, so he knows where to set up. So it's just another piece of equipment that could delay a game by not functioning properly.
Exactly, and I mean, as Connor Wong, I just want to make sure I find the quote here. It's you got to do. I mean, that's what all the catchers do. You got to focus on. You got to do your homework on all these hitters, knowing where their sweet spots are, where they're not so good at, and then you got to call the game. I mean, sorry, it's probably one pitch is part of the take away. Yeah, and again, it makes sense, but otherwise, he basically reiterates that. How can you figure out from a dugout whether Aaron Judge set up an inch closer to the plate than usual or an inch further away from the plate than usual? Which that should give you, as a catcher, a little like, okay, you're not in your usual spot. Why? And then you go into that, and then that's how you call that at bat. But from the dugout, you're not going to be able to see that unless now you have to have a camera directly overhead, which it's like, and listen, I love the traditionalism of baseball. I'm a big traditional guy, but I enjoyed the pitch clock. I like this ABS system, and I liked the ghost runner. Now in the playoffs, in the World Series, get rid of the ghost runner because you got to win it normally. I will watch an 18-inning game in October, but this whole thing just
I always thought all the umpires get a report card.
They
put
do
put the highest percentage of correctness, put them behind home plate. and give them more money.
But what about? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Then, everybody at any job, you want, what's the one thing? Money. Okay, you're a home plate umpire because you get a higher percentage correct. You get more money. Oh, well, you want more money? Then call the shit more correctly.
Yeah.
Then we can switch out and put you in there. And put your shit umpires in the field.
Exactly.
But
this is why it kills me, because they might have got report cards, and it's like, if they got report cards, then why do I know Angel Hernandez's name by heart? Why do I know these umpires' names by heart? The last thing I, as a fan, should know is the names of the referees, unless you're Ed Hockley, because you're just on steroids, you're jacked. But I shouldn't know who you are, because you're doing that. You're doing such a good job. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker Buehler, did you hear his comments about this? Oh, actually, the comments. I think he was talking about it last year, because they were introducing it and having that thought about it. But it's like he is talking about how he earned the right to have an expanded strike zone. Dude, the strike zone is from your chest to your knees on the batter, and then it's over the plate. There is no expanded strike zone. You haven't earned the right. If it's Justin Verlander, if it's Roger Clemens, if it's Nolan Ryan, if you don't fit it into that box, I'm sorry, that shouldn't be a strike, no matter your earned.
Well, Walker Buehler should have been more worried about at least pitching it between the two batters' boxes, like here in Boston. Like, seriously, he was absolutely horrible for us last year. Oh. But if that was the case, then that means the more years you have under your belt, the bigger the strike zone is going to be. Like, that's not fair, not right. Like, no. your same strike zone is the same strike zone from when you played Little League all the way to the major league. The strike zone never changes at all, ever.
Exactly. Well, it's like, okay, what if Walker Buehler is going against Barry Bonds, who earned the right to have a expanded strike zone or a shrunken strike zone? Exactly. Like, that was such a stupid comment. But again, I do like this ABS system, unless it gets out of control, where it's like win on top of win on top of win on top of win. It's like, okay, we get it. It takes 2 seconds to view, but now you're just adding the time. We don't need instant replay on ball 3 on the 6th at bat, or the 6th batter in the 4th inning. I don't need it. Just, can we move the game along? That's my only fear. Otherwise, now let's talk about the season. You said at the start of this that it's not going to be a sexy season. I agree with you. What's the over-under is what? 86.5, right? Wins?
I have them a little higher. I haven't given a number, but I do have over. I'll be announcing my record on our podcast next Sunday when we do the AL East preview.
Okay. Not this Sunday, the following Sunday, right?
No, this Sunday this Sunday coming up.
Okay. Sorry, when I hear next Sunday, sometimes I think of the week ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think DraftKings has the over/under at 86.5 wins, and I'll be honest with you, I think they're going to be at 86 wins. And as much as I like as much as our rotation is deep, especially if Tanner Houck returns, I know Cutter Crawford, Patrick Sandoval, we're going to talk about in a minute, are on their way back. But I want to start off with the report from Chris Cotillo today, saying how it's basically looking like Johan Oviedo is going to get that 5th spot, and that Connolly Early and and Peyton Tolley are going to go back to the minors.
Mm-hmm.
From all intents and purposes, especially according to Chris, it sounds like they're doing this due to the fact that they got some time in the majors last year, and now they need to protect their service time. Arguably, the two worst words in baseball is service time, especially when you're the Boston Red Sox, because they're so concerned about, oh my God, they're going to hit free agency in 2031, not 2032. We got to make sure we keep them the extra year. You're the Boston Red Sox. You can afford these guys down the road. And in my opinion, if one of them or if both of them don't earn that fifth spot, they should both be in the bullpen, because right now the bullpen is loaded with right-handed pitches. We only have 2 lefty pitches. That's not Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah. I'm looking at the 5th rotation, and when we touched bases on our podcast last week, when I said whoever's the opening day fifth man starter, one might not make it the second time around, because I think Sandoval and Crawford both will start with rehab assignments to get there. And I think our schedule is played out to where we have at least a week till our 5th man comes up, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I got you. So, yeah, we play. So, all right. So, opening day is in Cincinnati on March 26th. Where our 5th starter. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, will be the 31st of March. That will be game 1 for our 5th starter.
Yeah.
And that is Tuesday. So, Wednesday's at Houston. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a week apart.
Yeah, so, we have a week. I don't know what the rehab assignments, look like now, but just because Oviedo's named the 5th starter, it could be a spot start where, okay, you're going to pitch. By the time it gets back around again, Patrick Sandoval or Cutter Crawford might be ready to come back up to the major league roster, which that would send him back down. I see.
And he still has
yes,
minor options too.
Yes, he still has options. So everybody wants to let's get Tolley, let's get early. I love them, but if we can get them down there and just keep them fresh, because it's a long season. Also, we got to worry about Bayo pitching in the WPC. That's something that I look at as 2 seasons ago when he pitched the most innings of his career. And then last season, he, started the season later because he was still fatigued. He was, from the season before. I look at it as, keep him. It's okay to have him down there. I don't want to say it's because of service time for them. I look at it as, in a roundabout way, why bring them up to pitch? Possibly it could be 1 start, maybe 2, when you got Sandoval and Cutter Crawford. Both there are going to be, I think it's their 5th spot to fight for.
I don't disagree. So I want to touch on Early and Tolley first, though. The reason why I do kind of lean, well, one, because this Red Sox front office over the last decade has basically said to me, we're cheap, we're not going to spend big money, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that our guys who we like, who are good, are going to be here for as long as humanly possible. And based on their days at the majors last year, Early needs to stay in the minors for 35 cumulative days, and Tolley needs to stay there for 46 cumulative days in order to earn that extra year. And that's why, and listen, I agree with you with Crawford and Sandoval. I'm just interested to see kind of how their rehab is going because obviously Cutter is coming back from a wrist surgery and he had that patellar tendinopathy, last year. And then Sandoval is dealing with Tommy John back in June of 24. So it will be interesting. And I agree. I think, that is kind of their spot. But I'm looking at those two guys, the two rookies, and thinking they were great in spurts, which is why I want to see them in the as relief pitchers, especially as lefties. That we, like I said, we only have two lefties. That's not Aroldis Chapman in our bullpen right now. The rest are right-handed. So again, at the end of the day, I get the service time, but it just screams cheap.
Yeah, and talking to a lot of the minor league pitchers, it's a big difference to go from bullpen and then all of a sudden say one of the starters goes down and then they gotta amp them up to stretch them back out to the starter role. You could, and I honestly think once Sandoval and Cutter Crawford, one's going to be in the bullpen in long relief, the other one's going to be their starter, and until something else happens. So
I will say it will be nice to finally not have an opener. I feel like we have plenty of arms where we don't need a freaking opener or a TBD listed.
Yes.
Which that has driven me up a wall for the longest time.
Yeah. I think this is going into this offseason was the deepest I've ever seen our starting rotation ever. And we've traded away some pieces to get pieces we need. So I'm really our ace in the hole is definitely our pitching staff. And another thing with service time, real quick, everybody said about Roman Anthony last year that they were holding him down because they wanted to manipulate service time, or they were, he needed to work on things. Roman Anthony, if he would have came up, had no spot for him to play every day. None. Like our outfield was Duran, Sadan, Willier. I think we had Yoshida at DH. I think it took Willier to go down. Am I correct? When they called Roman Anthony up and such, just because they're not down there doesn't mean it might happen. But Conley early, like you said, and Tolley 35 and 46 days they need in the minors. That might happen, but that might not be what their intent is. They just have a lot other pitching options. We could see Conley early come and be the fifth guy, and then when one of the two guys comes, they get sent down. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. But at least, and you're right about the whole Roman thing with Warrior finally going down. Not finally, wrong choice of words, but
that was a crazy. What did he do? He walked off the dugout step wrong. And I've been there, and I'm a big guy. Like my ankle was done, like a balloon.
Oh yeah. So once he went down, and I'm pretty sure that the Roman extension came after the whole call up and everything. But but that goes to the whole Marcelo versus Campbell spring training last year, which I talked about, where if you look and you compare the two, Marcelo Meyer had the better spring than Christian Campbell by a mile. And yet,
I honestly think it was because of the contract offered to Christian Campbell that he accepted.
Yep.
That kind of forced their hand of, well, we got to give him a shot.
That's exactly where I was going, because again, it just goes to show that, here's the cheapness of the team. They got Christian Campbell on a team-friendly deal. They were hyping up Driveline, which I haven't heard much of Driveline in the last 6 months. So I know that they're still a part of that organization, which drives me up a wall because they're teaching baseball wrong. But
Jim Rice, we all know he loves Driveline.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, Jim, I am totally on your side with this one. He's more than welcome to come on this show and bitch about Driveline. But but that's what bothers me. It's like you just went with the guy who took your average, let's call it, to be nice, your average deal. And instead of going with the guy who actually earned the right to be there. So that, and again, I'm not saying that they're doing that with Tolley and Early. Mm-hmm. I think personally, it would have been nice to see them get reps by being relief pitchers, maybe extended relief pitcher for Connolly Early and see what you could do with Tolley. But I'm looking at this going, all right. Obviously, our strength is pitching. Hitting-wise, Wilson Contreras is kind of an upgrade. But, again, if like you said, if I forget his name because he drives me crazy. Who'd you just mention earlier? Our first baseman.
Wilson Contreras?
Nope, the other one. The guy who's hurt, the kid. Knee.
Casas,
Tristan Casas. Jeez. Wow. I had a brain fart there. Yeah. Casas.
Our shirts. Me Casas, that's Sue Casas.
Oh, jeez. I mean, listen, he's probably just as nice of a guy, but ever since he said that no one could do the Ted Williams or could hit the Ted Williams seat, it's physically impossible because he hit a home run that was nowhere near the seat. And he's like, I gave that all I got. Get off my team. Don't be disrespecting Ted Williams. Don't be disrespecting that seat. Like that did it in for me. I was like, nope, you're done. Get out.
Me, Heron, Ortiz took live BP with an aluminum baseball bat and couldn't hit that seat. Like that's something. You know what I mean?
Hmm? Well, and again, you got to remember too that Fenway Park was vastly different than it is today. And so the wind could have been more like Yankee Stadium with how that wind flow goes straight up into right field like that. And Fenway Park didn't have the upper deck. The wind could have just carried it. Who's to say? I enjoy that kind of stuff. I enjoy the aura that is that one red seat out in right field. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't need some kid who has done nothing for this team bashing that seat. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We all have our like. I personally think that he's going to DH this year for us.
Oh, 100%. If
it's going to be hard for him to get back at first base with that injury. Personally, right now, IFK or IKF, either way, I kill franchises. Like he looked horrible at first base the other day.
He's tiny.
Mascherano. Wait, was it? Is that how you say his name? The young kid that came over in the Durbin trade. He looked good at first base, and I think he's going to get all the Romy Gonzalez time
reps.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they were thinking. IKF. He's 5'10", 195, and Casas, just to give you a comparison, is 6'4", 244. Wilson Contreras is 6 feet 240. So you put a guy 5'10", 195 at first, just to kind of, and I get it, it's spring training, but just to see, it's pretty evident where you got 6 feet 240 Wilson Contreras over IKF 5'10", 195.
And he moved like a nimble cat. Contreras did with that dive. Did you see that in the spring training game?
No, I missed it. I ranted about this. I just got the MLB TV package, and friggin' I can't watch the damn games. It's only select games on MLB.TV. Pissed me off. But it's only for spring training. It's only for spring training.
He looked really good over there at first. And I think I'm hoping by the end of this week, maybe by the end of beginning of next week, they make the announcement on, who's third and who's second. I look at it as I think Durbin at third, Meyer at second. Yeah. Personally. But that Durbin's a freaking dirt dog. He I haven't seen one of those in quite some time on this Red Sox team. So
the only thing about Durbin is that height. That's what kills me with him being at third. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big Marcelo Meyer is a middle infielder. He is not a third baseman. He can do the job, but I would much rather him either at short or second over third base. But with Durbin, I just had it here. He's I still don't believe this. MLB.com has Caleb Durbin listed as 5'6".
Yeah.
I'm taller than him.
the only thing that worries me is can he get the balls that go over his head? Like what's his jump?
What's his vert? What's that vert? Standing vert.
And then you got Roman Anthony's gotta back him up on everything else there.
Mm-hmm. And that's what freaks me out, and that's why I'm like, at him being at third. And don't get me wrong, I mean you gotta deal with that at second base too. But there's something about him being at second that kind of maybe it's just the Pedroia, but Pedroia was taller than him. Pedroia was 5'9", 5'10"?
I think 5'10".
Yeah. So Pedroia's got 4 inches on this guy. Hey, at least the strike zone's gonna be this big.
I think though, we're not gonna see 30 home runs. I'll be surprised, but we're not
from Durbin or just in general.
Just the whole offense, the team. I don't think we're gonna see 30 home runs from a player. I'd be surprised. Maybe if Wilyer played most of his games in Texas, we might see close to that. But it's gonna be fundamental baseball. Yeah. Getting on base, stealing a base, moving the guy to third. It's going to be very boring baseball, but it's going to be exciting baseball because I'm hoping our defense, if we could at least move to the middle of the league in defense. Yeah. We were, I think, last or the bottom 3 the past 3 or 4 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
That is horrible.
We have the most errors in the last, I think it's 4 years, not by a little, by a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot. We had more errors than the worst team, Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
But yeah, I think we're gonna sit there and this team's gonna surprise people as long as we can stay healthy. $1 million question. I sit there and think outfield. We can do without one, because we have a little depth there. Infield, it's gonna be fun to watch, especially defensively. But if one goes down or 2 goes down, it's gonna be harder. We do got Nick Sogard, which I think they should give him a little more playing time because I think that can be a lot better than what we're seeing if they give him more at bats.
I just need to know that if Nick Sogard is on third and that a ball is hit to medium depth left center field, that our third base coach will tell him to go. Because that drove me nuts. That we could have won that game and maybe had home field advantage over New York.
Mm-hmm.
But with arguably the fastest guy in baseball at third, and they're like, oh, no, we can't do that. That guy's got an above-average arm. Oh, my God.
And the sad part is his above-average arm was when he played a different position in the outfield. Not the one that he was at.
Not at left field. Shocker.
No.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because, we're talking about the outfield. You're saying that, a couple of guys can go down in the outfield and we'll be all set. What about the guy we just talked about? The guy who took the team-friendly deal, Christian Campbell. The guy has no position, infield, outfield, and DH is already swamped. Is there any way for this kid to see the field? And do you know what's his value amongst the rest of the league? Are they looking at this kid like he's something, or?
From what I hear from people that we've talked to, it's not really him. It's more Yoshida. They want to see Yoshida play spring training, but we're going to see a lot of it in the WBC to see how well he is doing. And WBC, they're going to play him in the outfield. So, if we sit there and see one team that was the Cardinals, I know was asking about him, for value wise to see, but I think there was like 4 teams that was interested, but they want to see, what I mean? Christian Campbell might fall into that same category, but for that contract they have, I don't know how many people are actually going to take a fly on him. So he's going to start with being in AAA again, waiting, to get a shot somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 8 years, $60 million for Campbell is not the worst thing in the world, especially for Major League Baseball teams. And I'll tell you, if the Red Sox and Cardinals do one more deal together, fire Craig Breslow, because that means he can't do deals with normal people.
Well, what if they do another deal? I want them to include the Cardinals family pack. $29 for that bundle box. Come on now.
John Henry is trying to take as much money out of our pockets as humanly possible. There is no way the Red Sox will ever do that.
But I read that though, and I'm like, man, that's being family. Like you want to talk about the history behind Fenway Park. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals got some history behind them too. Like and they're willing to sit there and go $29.
Not at that stadium though. That's a stadium that's what, 15 years old?
Yeah.
That's not the Mark McGuire Stadium, by the way.
Oh no. I know it, but the franchise, the organization has plenty of history.
Exactly.
Like, and people want to go like, oh, well, they do the $4 for $99 ticket standing room. Who the hell wants to stand and watch a baseball game way up there for $99? And that's fine. Okay, me and 3 of my buddies go, but I'm still going to be spending $99 in food and beer.
Exactly. Yep.
So, but no, I honestly think that the Red Sox are going to be better than people expect this season. I am having them finish second in the division.
Who's number 1?
I would rather not say, but I'm somehow they always.
Let's put it this way. I'll give you this. Is it a team up north or is it a team down south?
Up north.
Ooh, I know you. I know. I gotcha.
So, oh wait, up north for you or up north for me?
I meant from Boston.
Oh, I'm in PA, so down
yeah,
south.
there's only one.
So yeah, down south. So, but I honestly think the whole AL East, and we're gonna be discussing it on Sunday when we have different podcasts coming on. Every team's gonna have a podcast that covers that team, and we're gonna discuss. I think the AL East is gonna be really, really tight this year. Orioles improved their lineup. They just got to worry about the pitching staff. Toronto, somehow they even got better with their pitching.
But they lost Shot, which I think is going to be sneaky underrated.
So Tampa is always Tampa for some reason.
I got no faith in Tampa right now. They're dealing with the whole, they got the stadium back finally with the roof and everything. But yeah, I just don't see.
And somehow, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. But the Yankees end up winning at least 90 games all the time. And I don't know.
Well, and they're going to get Garrett Cole back. Will Max Fried stay the same guy that he was last year? Which I don't know if this was a tweet or an article from Twitter, but it was saying how the Yankees pulled out the dog from Max Fried. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, sure. But to have a 1-2 punch of Cole and Fried, it's going to be good. And it would have been nice if we still had Devers, a certified Yankee killer.
The Kermit killer.
But it's, I don't know. I think, listen, at the end of the day, I get bitchy about the Red Sox because I just want them to be good, and I just want them to spend and actually act like the team they are, and the Fenway Sports Group, the conglomerate that they are, third at worst, fourth richest in the world, trillions of dollars coming in, and yet they piss all over us. They want to say, oh, look, we're spending $265 million. It's like, well, yeah, but you're spending it in a bunch of odd effing places. So it's like, at the end of the day, I just want the team to be good. Right now, outside of the lineup, the rotation, excuse me, I'm concerned. I think right now we are an 86-win team. And if we're lucky, we'll sneak into that final wildcat spot and probably get bounced again.
I'm more confident as long as our pitching staff is healthy. I'm more confident this season with our 1-2-3 than last season. Early lasted longer than Bayo did. You know what I mean? Giolito ended up with being hurt, so but. I know Crochet would have won out all 3 games if needed, and pitched because he's that dude. But it's like I'm more, even if we do get an injury, I'm more confident with our starting rotation this year compared to most. And there's not many in the AL that can compete with our rotation.
No, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. We have not only do we have a top rotation, but I think we have a very deep rotation. I'm just concerned with, again, some of the older guys. I'm concerned with replicating what they did last year or previously. So it's but yeah, it's I don't know. It'll be interesting. Otherwise, any final thoughts on the upcoming season?
No, just don't expect sexy.
Don't expect that'll be the title of my next show when I talk Red Sox.
Don't expect sexy.
Don't expect sexy. All right, well, Ritt, appreciate you, man, for coming on, and we're gonna do this again soon with opening day coming up in a couple of weeks. So Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Great having you on, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, you can always find us. Our YouTube channel is at BSCN617. You can find us on all major platforms for your listening pleasure to and from work. You can also find us on Twitter. Oh my goodness. It's at Pesky_podcast. Instagram, I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on again, talking some Sox. And, for the Boston Sports Summit, I'm your host, Tim Barnard, and we are presented by the Grid Network. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, follow all the socials that you see underneath. Boston Sports Summit on Instagram, BOS Sports Summit on X. And then, of course, Boston Sports Summit on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the Grid Network. Bunch of great content creators. And, look at that. We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you. And as always, God bless. Thank you.